Now, here we are, me and my friend the plant, but we're in a beautiful area. It's beautiful weather, so let's think beautifully and unbelievably, because we're wondering how unbelievably successful people think. I mean, there's growth here beside me, and that's successful. But we've a beautiful day all around us here. We're on a beautiful balcony, and we're looking out at beautiful weather. So to share those thoughts, we wonder how really can unbelievably, and I mean unbelievably successful people think? Well, there's certain ways. So let's start delving into them. One is that they think in different ways. Yep, they think in different ways, but not only that, they're positive people. I mean, we have to be positive. Let's construct a sentence, for example. I am going to the shop today. I am going to then purchase my groceries, and I am going to come back, cook some food, and then I'm going to eat and digest and sit down and watch television. Cool. Wonderful. That's a pretty medium sentence, medium actual paragraph or so. What about if I say, I might go to the shop today, I'm not too sure. It'll probably be raining outside. It could be fine. I might wear a coat. I might just get into the car. And if I get into the car, if I go to the shop, I might just get a takeaway instead. And if I get a takeaway, I'm not too sure. I might just ramble and go for a drive and maybe meet up with some people I know. And yeah, they're okay people. And then we'll hang out and watch television. Well, that's a medium type of sentence or phrase or paragraph more so, because that's like, I'm not too sure. But then there's the positive. I will go to the shop and I will buy the healthiest food there. And I will come home straight away and I will cook it fresh and clean and I will eat it and consume it. And I will actually enjoy it because that will nourish me, and I know that that will nourish me forever. It is a building block from here until eternity, because once I do that, I am going to go and do something productive. I'm using that food as a productive mechanism for me to energize, for me to think clearly, for me to actually use those building blocks of food with this wonderful temple of my body to go out there and produce and be productive and look back at the end of the day and say to myself, woohoo, I am up and positive. Positive language. Even doing that, saying that takes a thought, a series of thoughts. And that's where we're at with positive people. These are how unbelievably successful people think all of the time. Another way of thinking in this manner is, although they are positive things, and they're positive, more positive things definitely come from more positive thinking and then more positive action. But these positive things happen to positive people, but they also have things outside of their control happening too. And although there are positive things, there are things that do get these people down, but they turn them inside out to motivate them. So, in the example we shall say that I am getting up this morning, I'm going to enliven myself, I'm going to reach out, and I am going to find myself a millionaire friend. You get up, you get out there, you go driving, you go asking people, you check it out on the interweb, you look it out on the YouTube, baby, and you find out who are these positive people I can swing with, I can hang with, I can do things with, I can swing by, I meant to say, by the way. That's being more positive, I think. You know what I mean. Anyway, so basically that you can actually visit them, or you can hang with them, or try to understand what they're doing. No stalking, please, warning. But what I'm saying is that you need to be able to turn the positives now. That if that happens, well and good, you meet these people, wonderful. If you don't though, you come back and you say, I've tried all day. I've tried my very best. I've gone out there, I've gone to Beverly Hills, I have driven around, I've got a guidebook, or I've got some sort of tour guide with me, and they've shown me the stars of the wonderful people, the movie stars that I want to be like. And suddenly you actually do not meet these people. You don't even cross swords with one of them. In fact, you don't even get in the same 2-second frame to take a selfie or take some sort of picture with them. Not to mention even having them look at you, eye contact. You can be absolutely dumbstruck by their materialistic big houses, big places. and then come home and be negative about it and say, it will never happen for me. That was just a dream of a day. It was positive, but you know what? That's it. And if that's the case, you know what? You can turn it inside out. You can go back the next day and do something different. You can go back the day after that if you fail and go and do something different. Maybe it's not the way to do things. Maybe getting a tour guide is not the way. Get a better tour guide. There are other ways of doing it. Turn it inside out and motivate yourself for the long, hard road ahead. Another way that rich people, good, successful, most unbelievably successful people think is that they are patient. In the case of the last little story, basically what happened was a person had a tough day, even though it was quite a dream day as well. But it's how they looked at it or how they reacted to it. And how they reacted to it could make them, become completely indifferent to wanting to be rich after that. Because they go, well, you know what, I'm okay. Well, if that's the case, that's fine. But you're never going to have the next part of your thought process. If you have the seed that is already there, if you have the want or motivation to go out there in the first place, to hire a tour guide, or go out there, get in your car, or go somewhere, do a lot of traveling around, do your research and find where these people hang out. If you do that in the first place, well then there is something in you to go and do it yourself. If that is the case, you need to do it, but you need to be patient. You may need to change track and do something different. If things don't work out, then you got to go with the flow for now. And the flow can change. I mean, look at this friend of mine beside me here. He's growing no matter what the temperature. Yeah, sure, it's a lovely day. But what happens when it's not a nice day? He can't just walk inside. He can't just, hop on a tram and off he goes. He's got to brave it with the elements and be patient. People who are successful, they admit when they are wrong. Now, okay, it may not seem like this on the surface, but they know when they are out of their depth with something. If they're not in the right frame of mind, if they're tired, if they're not hitting bang 100%, if they have standards and they ain't reaching them, if in that example of going out trying to find superstars and they can't find them, or if they only meet one and they want 10, or if that's their usual thing that they must get 10 out of 10, if they are not in that frame, if they're not hitting that standard, they are going to be disappointed, and they have to say to themselves, I'm not at it today. Today is not a good day. Let me do something else. Let me not just chase superstars or networking events. Let me go to somebody else. Let me just, stay by my computer and do a little bit of writing today. Let me just do something that I feel. And then, go with that flow and be patient and bring back in the other elements, the other strategies we're talking about here. And just take it for today that just ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we need to admit to ourselves that. Of course, another huge element is to never ever give up. Okay, you can take a break. Things will frustrate you, for sure. But never give up. Why would you give up? It's there to be had. Everybody can have success. Just because an old man has loads of money and he wasn't a nice man all his life, if he doesn't deserve it. But you know what? If he did not give up, if he was the last person that stayed there and waited with his hands out and he got what he wanted, if he got that, well then surely he does deserve it. Even if he's not so nice to people, if he's horrible to people, surely then he just deserves it for the sake of just being the last one there, being completely patient and never ever giving in. If you throw enough, SH1T at it, it will surely stick. And as you hear the caw-caw of the birds behind me, well, I better just duck or get to the end of this video fast. And when I do, hopefully you'll subscribe. And if you do, please watch till the end, because you can give your comments below and I will comment on them and answer you back with thanks. Already, we're next to near where we need to be, because rich people, they expect to succeed. That is pretty simply said. Explaining it is easier too, but it's about having the patience. It's about grinding it into your own mind's eye to expect to succeed. The more you expect to succeed, the more you will fail for sure, but the more you will actually succeed big when you do succeed. Then you'll go, and that's one of those moments. Rich people, they try something new. Not all of the time, granted, but if you try something new, imagine just one thing, numero uno, one thing. That is the one thing that can get you from not only point A to point B, but from point A right through to point C. Because if you dare to go where no one else has gone before, you might just be successful. Do your research. We're getting to the end, because it's not the end these hugely successful people are at, because they generally don't fear failure. So if failure is at the end, they generally don't fear failure. But that's going back to an earlier point, because they expect to succeed. If you expect to succeed, you won't fear failure. If failure comes about and you just say to yourself, well, I expect to succeed next time, I will win, then you know what, more often than not, you'll get there. Once you get there and you have enough of something, you have more than others. If you have more than others, you're going to succeed more. If you succeed more, well, then failure is bye-bye, fly away. You see, people say, some sports people say they fear losing, and this motivates them. But you know what? If they're so successful in the first place, imagine they must have huge ability otherwise. Because if you tell yourself that you're going to be successful, then if you allay your fears and get rid of them, if they're gone, kaput, kapow, well then imagine what this sports person would have done had they not actually feared it in the first place. Even if they were successful, they could have been player of the game. They could have been player of the season more often. If they avoided the fear of failure, imagine how extra successful even the biggest sports people, biggest business people, the most successful people ever there was. Just imagine that. We're getting to the very end, and comments below if you do say so. We have a new point. Well, maybe not, but you know what? I'm a poet and I don't know it. But what I'm saying is, we can trip over words, but we need to think positively and think big. Maybe I'm thinking too big, and that's why I tripped over my words in the first place. Because if you are successful, if you want to be rich, if you want to be really successful in life at something, sometimes they think, those people, those big ass people, they're so big they trip over the small stuff. But they think bigger than others, and that's the thing. And they have bigger keys. Not small keys that jingle in your pocket. They have big ass keys that you wouldn't get one of those keys in your pocket. Bigger than others, and therefore this becomes a habit. It's consistency and making that key, using that key, and going to where you need to go. Lastly, it's pretty simple, this one. And if you only remember this one, you'll have them all down in one. Repeat steps 1 to 9 all of the time. Be consistent, just like I said. So, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you can. If you haven't already, please do. And comments below. Until next time, have a wonderful day.